Roll it.
Oh, yeah. 5 pre-rolls on this special holiday season is starting edition. Starting with Tommy John this softness season, why not give the gift of comfort to everyone on your list, including yourself, with the new Tommy John underwear, loungewear, and pajamas. Shop TommyJohn.com/JRVP right now for the holidays. You get 25% off site-wide, 25% off everything for a limited time at TommyJohn.com/JRVP. I'm using this promo code, TommyJohn.com/JRVP. Need some new ones. See site for details. Also, going to use my Helix code. Get another bed. You should never have to compromise on comfort. Helix has mattresses with cooling technology that helps regulate your body temperature, whatever the season. Helix is offering 20% off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows for our listeners. Go to helixsleep.com/JRVP. This is their best offer yet, and it won't last long. With Helix, better sleep starts now. You want to be bilingual?
Fuck yeah.
Start learning a new language this year. Be the exception, not the rule. Here's a special limited time deal for our listeners to get you started right now. Get 55% off your Babbel subscription at babbel.com/JRVP. You get 55% off at babbel.com/JRVP. That is spelled BABBEL.com/JRVP. Rules and restrictions may apply. You know they do. And finally, we're always thanking AG1 every week because we drink AG1 every day. Helps my energy. If you want to take ownership of your health, it starts with AG1. Try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of AG1 and a vitamin. You get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3, K2, and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase. Go to drinkag1.com/JRVP. That's drinkag1.com/JRVP. You got to check it out. But you don't start checking out the next read until you're done, or you might step on your dick like I did. 5 pre-rolls, Anthony. Lets you know it's holiday season. We're celebrating with Tosh Talk, pooping on a possum, and the worst thing you can give to a thrift store, all coming up in episode 226 of the Jeselnik and Rosenthal Vanity Project.
Junior Vice President.
Oh, wow.
Sorry, guys.
It is really... Do we have to redo the whole thing?
Starting from the first pre-roll.
I actually think we have to cancel Christmas. This is the longest build-up to the song we've ever had. Let's say it again. The Jeselnik and Rosenthal Vanity Project.
JRVP.
Junior Vice President.
Hey, Santa Claus, suck on this.
But you told the listeners on episode 225 that we were going to tape 2 in one day.
Yep, this is
and
number
so
2.
you ruined the mystique I was going to create by changing my outfit and just wearing a T-shirt for this one. You also said before we started, this could be 20 minutes and you'd be fine. Well, we've already done 5 with all those pre-rolls.
15 to go. That's great. Yeah, 2 back-to-back. Again, a lot of travel, leaving tomorrow, doing 2. I'm not going to be here next Tuesday. I'll be going to Boston, and then things clear up. So, yeah, I know thank you for loyal listeners for listening while I've been touring. Greg's been doing football stuff, and Aaron has just been shitting the bed all over the place for no discernible reason. But I promise you things will clear up in the podcast. Loyal listeners, we're gonna have special things for you.
We do have your special contest. I mean, what's the special things? The fact that we're still doing this. I mean, we have been doing it now for what, 4 years? 5 years?
I don't know. I'll be happier in a couple weeks. Just know that. I'm getting through this. I'm white-knuckling it through this podcast. 5 pre-rolls? Aaron, how much money is that for us?
Oh, upwards of $7, $8.
$7 or $8. More than that. Divided between 2 people. And then, of course, we give Aaron his cut. Aaron, what's your cut?
Half a penny.
Half a penny. Per dollar. That's right. So you're cleaning up too. We're all doing great. Listen, we don't have things to talk about. We just taped an episode. I'm going to go back in time.
We could always just have a conversation.
I went away. For a couple of weeks. I went and did a bunch of shows while I was gone out of Los Angeles. The 2 big ones. Last week I talked about Pittsburgh. That was a great show for me. Personally, seeing all friends and family there. It was fun. The other great show, one of the best shows of my life, definitely one of the best of this tour. I think the best show of the tour, I would say Chicago Chicago Theater. Those 2 shows were insane. I was so happy. The close second is Carnegie Hall. And a lot of times when I'm performing, it's almost like you get through it. You look at the dates and you're like, all right, let me get through these dates. And occasionally you're on stage and you're like, wow, I'm really enjoying this. This is fun. It's usually the last show of the tour. Otherwise, you're just like all business. Carnegie Hall.
You mean the last show of the weekend?
No, the last show of the tour.
Oh.
The weekend and the tour. But it's like the whole tour, you're like, wow, this is so great that I've gotten to do this. I felt like that the entire time I was on stage, even for the rehearsal beforehand, the sound check. Being backstage was great. Carnegie Hall is one of those theaters, I don't know if you've been to places like this, where everyone's super fucking strict. Everyone takes their job real serious. You can only go in certain places, can't go into others. You got to have your pass, got to do this. Everything's got to be exactly the same. No drinks on stage. They were the most of that, but it was charming because it's Carnegie Hall. And then being on stage, getting to introduce my parents to the crowd, having them stand up was amazing. They brought a lot of friends. We had an after party afterwards where my parents got to meet, my business manager, my agent, my manager, and everyone had a blast. You talked about like losing your voice from like doing too many podcasts. Everyone walked out of that after party with no voice. It's loud. It's a New York bar. Everyone's partying. It was awesome. Shout out to Isaac Fitzgerald, my new friend who came, the author of Dirtbag, Massachusetts, who came. We talked books for a few minutes. Got to catch up with some random people, but it was an amazing time. People have responded to my social media post about the night, where I posted some great pictures Liz took, some awesome photos from Carnegie Hall, and I had said that everyone was great at the New York Comedy Festival, except for one person who I want to strangle with my bare hands. And people have said, I saw the comments being like, I can't wait to hear the podcast to hear what he's talking about. When I agreed to do the New York Comedy Festival, and I like the New York Comedy Festival a lot. I taped my last special at the New York Comedy Festival, did many shows with them. I like them as people. They made a big mistake. They made it a long time ago, and they fucked up, and I was extremely gracious about that mistake. I was like, it's fine. I'm going to put my big boy shoes on. I'm going to go do my show. I got family coming. I'm going to enjoy this show. I was told there would be certain things that would happen because I was so gracious. One of those things did not happen. When you are talking to someone who works for me, you're talking to one of my employees. If you're a sponsor and you call Aaron on the phone and you talk to him in a less than respectful way, I treat it as if you're talking to me that way. If you talk to my tour manager in a disrespectful way, it's like you're talking to me that way. If you talk to my tour manager in a disrespectful way in front of my agent, Mike Berkowitz, you're going to lose your job. Mike Berkowitz just takes out his phone and starts sending an email as you are dressing down my tour manager. There was no reason for it. And listen, there was reason for it. The person who was losing their job, I wish you nothing but the best. You were put in a bad situation. I hope you work somewhere else at a different festival and have a great time. You were put in a bad situation by the festival who did the thing they did to me in the first place. Again, I'm not going to get into it. But the guy should not have talked to my tour manager like that. He shouldn't have said what he said. And I did not complain. I went and did my show. My tour manager didn't complain. An email was sent by Big Dog Burke, and I made my comment on social media. That guy is no longer there.
Dang.
Things were solved. Again, New York Comedy Festival, you're cool, but you know what you did. You fucked up. And I'm okay. I'm happy. Tour manager's happy. Everyone's good. But be careful how you talk to people.
The Burke dog bite.
Yeah. I couldn't.
Our mutual friend.
To talk to someone in front of my agent is a death sentence. So I'm sorry you lost your job.
I want more specifics. What did they say to your tour manager? Like how would you describe the tone at least? What
impatient. You got to hurry it up. Why are we holding? We need to go. And that should not have been my Carnegie Hall experience. And again, it wasn't people protect me from these things. I don't hear about this till afterwards. It was not in my head during the show. But this guy had to go. And thank you, New York Comedy Festival, for listening to me and my agent. Otherwise, it was a magical experience being on that stage. It was fantastic. I had some streaming services vying for my services for the next special, and a lot of them came to Carnegie Hall. And one of them, who before we have this meeting, I have a meeting with a streaming service, and they're like, we want to get into this. We really want to launch our thing. We think you might be the guy, and I'm like, oh, I'm totally the guy. And here's why. Here's what this new hour has that you should totally want to do this. And they were so excited. They're like, you're so smart. This is so great. And they see the show on Friday, like, that was amazing. And then on Monday, they're like, we can't. We just can't. We're not even going to put an offer. We can't work with this. And I was like, great. I've never had a bigger compliment given to me by a network. So no surprise, but you will be able to see my next special, which I will film. I can say this now. I will film it in May. I will film it in Milwaukee.
Wow.
I was thinking about Philadelphia. It was a beautiful theater. And again, I love Philadelphia. I love Minneapolis. I was thinking about Minneapolis. It ended up being Milwaukee for several reasons, nothing to do with the people. But I will film a special for Milwaukee, and I would hope that late next year, probably in the fall, you will be able to see it on Netflix.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yep.
Congrats.
So Netflix wins. There was some other competition this year. People were getting into it. One couldn't hang, and the other one could not afford to take me from Netflix. So it's going to be Netflix next year. I believe it's going to be called Bones and All. That is my news.
It's pretty exciting.
It was fun.
Pretty exciting news.
It was great that my parents could come and then hang out for a couple of days afterwards. Like, my parents were so happy to be in New York. They'd be walking around, like, we'd get them a bagel, and they'd be like, "We're eating a bagel in New York City." I'm like, "Oh, we're eating a bagel in Washington Square Park." They were just so happy. Everything was great. The dinners were fun. That couldn't have.
Any other friends around? I'm trying to think, because we lived in New York together at the same time. Although I don't really think of you as. I don't think of you first when I think of New York, because you were kind of in and out, and you were touring, and it was a brief time. But like, did you see any friends? Like, what was the rest of the time in New York like?
I mean, a couple. I had some old friends. I had Ophir Eisenberg, one of my original openers, come and do 15 minutes open for me. Dina Hashem, one of my East Coast openers.
She's been going everywhere. She's great.
Yeah, was one of the openers. It was her special debuted. If you see me perform, you like one of my openers. Dina Hashem just had a special debut a couple weeks ago on Amazon Prime. It's called Dark Little Whispers by Dina Hashem. She's hilarious.
I think she's hilarious.
So that special came out the day of Carnegie Hall, so she was happy and excited. Everyone had a good time. I didn't see a lot of like friends. It was more like family. People who came to see a lot of people came into town to see Carnegie Hall.
So what was the pre-show? There was some, you put some pictures out. You said it was kind of a magical evening. What was the pre-show, walking out onto the stage, and then when you're doing the show, did it feel different because you're like, fuck, this is Carnegie Hall?
Yeah, the stage is, I mean, it's a cathedral. Like, it really is. And I've been on some beautiful stages, but this was like, just the way it's lit, like the size of the stage is huge. And when they introduce you, they open up this huge metal door on the side of the stage. So it's like, you can't see anything. You can kind of hear a little bit, it's muffled. And then as they introduce you, some guy opens this giant door and you hear the music pumping, and I walk through, and I felt like king shit. It was awesome. It was great to walk out doing that, and like the whole set was just awesome. I was so happy I got to do Carnegie Hall at this point in my tour, just to have it totally down. It was so fun. The whole experience, aside from one person who was now not employed, it was great.
Yeah, Burke was very excited. Burke, you mentioned your touring agent who also helps me out, and I've become friends over the years. But yes, he sent a very sort of proud dad, proud friend video from that vantage point of you on the side. He took a little video walking through that door and shared it with me like right after it happened, which is cool. Got to feel like I was there a little bit, because I really wanted to be there. Wish I was, but I will in San Diego or LA.
It was incredible. It was incredible. But yeah, I'll be in LA in April. Actually March maybe, but yeah, we'll figure it out. But yeah, that was an incredible experience. I absolutely loved it.
So you don't want to be specific of what this comedy festival did in the first place to annoy you?
Yeah, okay. I'll break it down. I'll flat out. There should not have been two shows. Carnegie Hall is a one show thing. They were like, "Do you want to do it on this date?" And I said yes. And then they announced, "Oh, Anthony Jeselnik early show, Tim Dillon late show." And this has nothing to do with Tim Dillon. I don't care if Tim Dillon lives or dies. But they tried to hurry me in my show. And it's like, you shouldn't have had two shows. I get why you're stressed because you got to do two tonight, but that's not my problem. It should not have been my problem. And you should not have talked to my tour manager like that. I'm not going to get into specifics, but unacceptable. And I made the best of it. I'm sure Tim made the best of it. But you shouldn't have done it to either one of us. it makes it less special to do Carnegie Hall. But I did not let it get me down. It was awesome. But fuck that one guy.
Did your voice sound better? Maybe it's just like in my head, but I've seen a couple shows there, but I saw Band of Horses there, and his singer has just like a great voice. And I swear I left that show being like, I've never heard a voice sound as good as his voice sounded in that place, just because of the acoustics. But maybe it's like I just went in there thinking that, but it was ridiculous.
That's what I had thought going in, but the people afterwards said that I could not carry a tune. They said that they said we were expecting more jokes, and I thought, it's Carnegie Hall, you're getting the voice. And so I belted it out.
I also saw Rufus Wayne right there. That's a great voice.
Aaron, do you know what song I sang?
There's a hole.
No.
No? Well,
There's a hole in my...
Mac the Knife.
oh.
Mac the Knife's what I sang.
It's a classic.
Mm-hmm. How was your week?
How was my week, my month? It's busy. There's all sorts of fun stuff cranking through a season. We're at that point of the season where you feel a little bit of the heaviness and whatnot, but we're getting through it. It's been great. I don't know. Now I can't think back to what was happening in early November.
Listen, I mean, it puts it in perspective for me. When I complain about having to tour all around the country and all the travel and being away from home for a month, I forget about you watching all these football games. I forget about you binging football games.
We're doing like 10 shows a week.
3 days a week.
We're on Channel 5 until, well, granted, it's not 4 a.m. here. It's only like 9 p.m. here. But
I wish I had a third co-host.
Yeah.
I wish I had a third co-host on this podcast. I could just take weeks off, and I could just sit there and let the other two talk like you do.
That's not what we do.
And now it's I'll never know. I tried to listen to Greg's other podcast once, and it was impossible. Unless you know the names of all the football players, it doesn't make a fucking lick of sense.
Yeah, Emeka listened. We once put it on in the car. I think Walker was younger and he wanted to. I mean, he's very into football now, but and we're like, okay, and so we put it on for like 30 seconds. And it's the only 30 seconds that Emeka's ever heard of the 1600 or whatever, however many episodes we've watched, and she was just like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
This is not gonna happen.
I'm with you, Emeka. Unlistenable. And now it's time for Did We Get Any Notes?
Did we get any notes? Notes. Did we get any notes? Notes. Did we get any notes?
I don't know. We may have gotten all the notes in the world. I don't know. We taped this 5 seconds after the last one. We hit send and then started another one. Maybe there's notes. Doesn't matter. By the time the notes get to me, it'll be too late. I will talk about the contest some more. I announced a contest last week. The vinyl collection. If you got to make me a Suck My Dick America bracelet, send it in to me. Give me your address, your mailing address you want the albums shipped to. The top 5, the best 5 of them. Not only will I wear them on tour starting next year, but I would not all at once, one at a time. In case one breaks, I got to back up. And you will get all 4 of my vinyl albums. 3 about to be in stores or wherever you can buy things in a week or so. 1 very rare. So you'll get the bundle if I like your bracelet. Come at me. Come at me with America Suck My Dick bracelets.
Did you mention the comma again?
I want a comma.
You need the comma.
Suck My Dick, comma, America. If you want an exclamation point, I'll take it. If you want to leave it off, I'll accept it.
Because there might be some weird Jeselnik and Rosenthal vanity project.
JRVP.
Junior Vice President.
Listeners out there that listen to this one first. Just they listen out of order. They were out of.
It's fine. You got until the end of the year to send them
this. I'm just saying they need.
You got until the end of the year to send in the bracelet. You get the albums. If you don't want to send in a bracelet, albums aren't important to you. That's fine.
And
I don't want to hear.
Where do they
bitching.
send it to? By the way, I don't even think we said that last time.
It's the All Things Comedy address. The people have it. People find it. Aaron can tell you.
It's in Burbank.
Yeah, you got until the end of the year, and that was. Did we get any notes?
Did we get any notes? Notes. Did we get any notes? Notes. Did we get any notes?
Now it's time to take it down to a place that's all notes all the time. It's like that's all they do. Notes, 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 notes. Emails are a thing. That's a note. Write it down, crumple it up, stick it up your nose, and then shoot yourself. It's email corner.
I believe we're going to ad copy.
And now it's time for
Ad copy.
You know what? Let's go back to Did We Get Any Notes? I want to talk about a card I got in the mail from Marjorie. Marjorie is our publishing friend who sends us books a lot.
Yeah.
Marjorie sent me a handwritten card, which I appreciate, to tell me how great the show at Carnegie Hall was. She came to the show.
Oh, that's cool.
And said that she sent us copies of the new Sigrid Nunez novel, which you recommended last week, as well as A Death in Malta. We did not get those books, Marjorie. Greg and I both went out and bought Sigrid Nunez's book. Which I would have done with on the road.
I did not. I did not.
A Death in Malta, we have not received. I will check it out. If you, on your recommendation, Marjorie, you are batting 1,000 with us. Thank you for the card.
Yeah, and I think it was probably Marjorie who sent this new Tommy Orange book, which comes out in February. I'm guessing for me, because I was a huge fan of There, which was his short story kind of connected collection. So this is his first full novel, Wandering Stars by Tommy Orange. So I'm looking forward to that.
Great. And now it's time for
Ad copy.
Let's do a little Tommy John, shall we? Because if you're looking for the perfect gift this season, you want to upgrade your loved one's underwear this holiday season, but without the awkward eye contact. Was that you, Anthony?
Yeah. I mean,
this
spam. I got spam.
No, I know, but you can put it on. You can put it on mute. You know what's even better than putting it on mute?
Tommy John
underwear. You could also get an e-gift card from Tommy John. It's a perfect way to upgrade your loved one's underwear without the awkward eye contact. Some gifts are loved year-round. Some are banished to the closet. Tommy John is one of the gifts your loved ones will look. They'll feel amazing.
Let me tell you how to be a big timer with Tommy John's underwear. This is what I'm going to do next year. I'm going to buy a bunch of Tommy John's underwear. I'm going to buy like 30 pairs.
It's just Tommy John.
And I'm going to keep them in the the little bag they come in. And then I'm going to pack those when I go on the road and then wear those. That way it's easier to pack. You're touring a lot, buy a bunch of Tommy John's, wear them once, toss them.
What?
Yeah, that's a baller move.
Okay. Wearing them once and tossing them seems odd.
If you're on the road, listen, if you're at home, wash them. But if you're on the road, you toss them. Aaron, what do you do if you're at home?
You wear them.
And then
wash them.
You wash them.
And then what do you do if you're on the road?
You toss them.
That's right. What do you do if you're at home?
You wash them.
What do you do if you're out? What if you do if you're just outside your house?
I'd still toss them.
There you go.
I'm relaxed because I get my holiday shopping done weeks early by just getting everyone Tommy John. No one's going to complain about Tommy John. In fact, 97% of women and men love getting the gift.
They're the best
Tommy
underwear.
John.
The best.
You know who...
I wear them. That's all I have.
Those 3% are, by the way, that don't love getting Tommy John? Assholes. Ex-friends. That's who they are. People
Child molesters.
You don't need them.
Pedophile priests who are covering up what they're doing.
Another option would be to get them other underwear, scratchy underwear, terrible underwear, if you want to be a bad friend. If you want to be a good friend, shop TommyJohn.com/JRVP right now. For the holidays, you get 25% off site-wide. 25% off everything for a limited time at TommyJohn.com/JRVP. TommyJohn.com/JRVP. See site for details. I'm wearing them right now. And my mom, she asked, do you really wear the Tommy John? I really am wearing them. They're the best.
I wear 2 pairs sometimes, just in case I piss myself. That way, you wear 2 pairs, you piss yourself, you just peel off the first layer and toss it, and then you're good.
Weird. That's weird.
Aaron, am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wearing 2, though, it could protect you if you pee your pants while you're sleeping on your Helix mattress. The Helix lineup has 20 unique mattresses, including the award-winning Luxe Collection and the newly released Helix. We got the Luxe Collection because we want the award-winning Midnight Luxe Collection.
Midnight Luxe.
We're not messing around.
I want to stay cool when I sleep. I get hot because I'm so fucking sexy that God looks down on me like he's holding up a magnifying glass while I sleep. God's having impure thoughts about me, and he just focuses them on me while I'm trying to sleep, and it gets warm. It gets warm under the covers. I got my dog there. I got Liz there. I'm in between the two, and I'm so attractive that God makes me sweat. The Midnight Lux brings that back a little bit, keeps me cool.
They also have the Elite collection, which is for big and tall sleepers. I don't need it. They have one for kids. I could probably use that, though. The Helix Sleep Quiz would help me out, though, and it would help me find my perfect mattress under 2 minutes. They also know at Helix, best way to test out a new mattress, sleep on it. They give you 100 nights, and if you keep it, a 10 to 15-year warranty to try out your new mattress. I now sleep on my back because of issues. I like the medium, but you can get soft, medium, firm, whatever you want. Helix is offering 20% off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows for our listeners. People love their Helix. We hear from our listeners. Go to helixsleep.com/JRVP. That's why Helix has stuck with us for like 4 years, because people buy them. They love them.
Give it to someone who needs a bed. Most people need new beds, and they're never going to go and do it. You say, hey, Merry Christmas. Lie down on this, you piece of shit.
Why would you talk to your friends like the person at Carnegie Hall talks to your tour manager?
That's the best way to talk to someone when you give them a gift, because you can say whatever.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, Aaron, you know how when your wife gave birth, it was the one time you could just slap her across the face and she couldn't do anything about it?
That's not...
Because she's so happy about the baby?
Yeah.
Aaron knows. Give me another ad.
Great what? Yes, and there. Look, we just passed Thanksgiving. It took the Mayflower 9.5 weeks to cross the Atlantic.
Is that true?
That's
Aaron,
just over a couple
is that
months.
right?
That's what I've heard, yeah.
Yeah. So that's more than a few months to get to a whole new world. You know how you can get to a whole new world even faster? 3 weeks? Babbel. You can learn a whole new language in just 3 weeks. You can do it by the end of the year, by Christmas. You could sign up. You could go to Babbel, babbel.com/JRVP, BABBEL.com/JRVP, and you would have that new language ready for Christmas. People visiting, and you break out some Spanish. Maybe you've got Spanish relatives. Who knows? You're going to impress the hell out of them.
I guarantee I have Spanish relatives. Let me tell you something. You know how you got that game on your phone that you're embarrassed about someone seeing you play? And you're just like, oh, I got to quit doing this? Get rid of the game and download Babbel. And in those minutes where you'd be sitting there on your phone playing a game, you're sitting in the car, now you're learning a language. Each lesson just takes a couple minutes. If you need to refresh, you can go back, stop playing games, and start learning languages. That should be their slogan from now on. That's your New Year's resolution. Get rid of the game and start learning a language.
It works, too. It's quick 10-minute lessons. It's on the app. It's designed by experts, and you just spend a little bit of time each day. It's designed to have real conversations versus, like, you're not learning, like, all the intricacies of grammar. You're learning how to actually speak in a variety of languages. I said Spanish, but you can choose whatever language you want. They got a huge list. Here's a special limited time deal for our listeners to get you started right now. You get 55% off your Babbel subscription. It's only for our listeners at babbel.com/JRVP. 55% off babbel.com/JRVP. It's spelled Babbel. BABBEL.com/JRVP. With over 10 million subscriptions sold. It's real language learning for real conversations. Rules and restrictions apply.
And that was
Ad copy.
part 1. And now let's take it down to a place that's always selling out. It's Email Corner.
Email corner. Emails are a thing. Email corner. Emails. It's email corner.
Guys, emails are a thing. Try to tell me they're not, I'll have you fired. Look my tour manager in the eyes and tell her emails aren't a thing, I'll fucking take your house. You want to lease a car? Good luck. You can't pass the credit check now because of how you talked to my tour manager.
First question here is from Carrie. And, of course, you can email us. You should email us. You really owe it to us to email us at JRVP Junior Vice President at gmail.com. You can send us questions about your life. You can come up with scenarios. You can just ask something pop culture. Or you can go ahead and you can review us on iTunes, too. You can also give us headlines. We like getting headlines from you. A little help. A little help for Miss Kim. First question's from Carrie. She asks, if we've had a chance to watch Daniel Tosh's surprise comeback. And if we have any thoughts, he now has a YouTube podcast called Tosh Show. I feel like he and Anthony must have gotten along well.
No, Tosh and I don't know each other really. We have the same manager, always liked each other. Never really. I remember the last time I saw him, I remember introducing him at the Comedy Store, being like, and I remember saying, we're not friends, but we respect each other. And brought him on stage, and he thought that was really funny. Like, we get along, we haven't been in the same room very often. I like him a lot. I think he's a very smart guy, and I like the way he's approached his career. You're saying comeback. I don't believe it's a comeback. This motherfucker did 10 years of Tosh.0, where they were doing, they made 1 million episodes of that fucking thing. That's just what he was doing. And he was touring constantly while that was happening. It was all part of a big deal. He made so much fucking money that when it was over, he took some time to chill. It was also a global pandemic. So I don't think this is a comeback. He just like took a little time. I believe he had a kid. I'm not exactly sure. But I believe he had a kid, and then he's like, all right, let's do a comeback. He's doing a thing with Amazon. He's doing this podcast, I guess. He just wants to work. He just wants to be busy. But I don't think it's a comeback. I think it's just him kind of getting back out there after taking a little break, which is totally understandable after Tosh.0.
I feel like, not that I'm breaking any news, but I've heard people at my work who have like YouTube shows, some of the ex-players breaking down film or whatever, like breaking down the ad money that they get off the YouTube shows and the different tiers and how it all works. And it's like a lot of money there. A lot of money in the old YouTube podcast.
I'm sure it is. I think he could never work again and be fine. I think he's just doing whatever he wants to do and figuring it out, but I wouldn't call it a comeback. People are like, why is he hosting this Amazon reality show? Because he's getting so much money that you would slit the throat of everyone you've ever kissed to have just 10% of it. So that's why.
I would not slit the throat of my wife for any amount of money.
What about the other people you kissed?
It depends who. You said everyone, though.
Aaron, you get 10% of whatever Tosh is getting paid by Amazon to host a reality show.
10%.
To slit the throat of everyone you've ever kissed.
I can think of a couple.
Do you do it?
Not every one of them, but a couple.
Slit.
Because if you guys both decided to do it, that's only like 4 lives lost. So it's not that bad. It's per life lost. You get a lot of money. I would do it. I would do it.
Carrie said she saw you at Carnegie Hall and says you killed it.
That's right.
She had her spaghetti and meatballs JRVP shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to the old merch. And not a single person I encountered knew what my T-shirt meant. What the fuck? Just a little nug there.
Maybe it was November and you were wearing a coat. Maybe people aren't looking at your fucking T-shirt and coming up to you and being like, I know what that means. What are you, in kindergarten?
Whoa. Anytime I've worn that shirt, I'll get a JRVP. Maybe not every single time, but I'll get a JRVP in the wild from wearing that shirt. Little JRVP. I like that.
What an amazing world we live in.
Another recent one at the school, right in Santa Monica, just on the street, little JRVP in the morning. Impressed my son. Not really. Mike in Tampa.
Wait, was there a question? That wasn't a question?
No, that was just part of the last one. Sorry.
Okay.
That was just tacking that on after her question. Mike in Tampa says him and his wife have been longtime listeners. They recently got married. He even slipped a bones and all reference into my wedding vows, which is amazing. And no one in attendance laughed, save for my wife, but that was all that mattered. And now it's been a few weeks. It's still weird calling her my wife. My question is for Greg and Aaron, as married men. Did you experience a similar feeling when the novelty of calling your significant other your wife wears off and the reality sets in? Thank you for being a weekly part of our lives and forever a moment in our special day. And if you're wondering if I picked this because it's the first ever email that says my question is for Greg and Aaron, you're right. I just thought that would be funny. You are not allowed to answer
I'll
this
take
question.
this one.
No, you're
First
not allowed to answer
of all, let me just make a guess. Because I know I was there. I was at Greg's wedding. I know the answer to this for Greg. Aaron, how long have you been married?
7 years.
7 years. How long from the day of your wedding until you stopped doing it did you refer to her as my wife? Because I guarantee you did.
Yeah, that was probably a couple years.
Yeah. Yeah, I figured.
Yeah, there was a lot of that. A lot of my wife. I guess it did sound weird for a while. I don't want to get too woke here, But there is something about like, I think after a while I stopped stopped trying to use my wife. There's something just like just say their name, even if the person doesn't know your wife, they can figure it out, or you just tell her.
I think you're giving someone information
away.
If you say this is my wife, it's like, hey, don't fuck around.
Oh no, that part's fine. But if you're like,
friend.
if she's not there and you're like saying a story, after a while, and I wouldn't blame anyone for doing this, it almost started annoying me when people are like, my wife, my wife, my wife. Just say their name. You don't own them.
You do though. If you get married, you do own them. I don't mind people saying my wife a lot.
I don't either, but I just after like 10 years, I was like, I want to stop saying this. Just say the name.
Get divorced. I don't like when people say my partner when they're married. If you're if you like, it's not specific enough. You know, if you are in a same-sex relationship, I get a partner forever. But once you get married, my husband, my wife, my whatever. Don't say partner if you're married. It's too confusing. Because I'm like, are you in business together? What are you talking about?
What about you, Aaron? Was there a while? And I guess the question was about the reality of it. There is a part of you, or at least part of me. I was young at the time, where it almost feels like you're like play acting. They're like, this is weird that you would say that someone is your wife. And that I think that's what he's getting at.
Yeah, there's probably a few weeks of that, but I mean, I don't mind. I still say it all the time.
I feel like it would be more difficult, and tell me if this is true. I feel like the difficult part is getting used to the wedding ring, to wearing that ring and not losing it, as opposed to like referring to someone as your wife. That's like a nickname. That's fine.
Yeah, it took a while for sure.
Yeah, you're always playing around with it. I remember I was playing around with it under the table on our honeymoon and dropped it, and it rolled all the way across the restaurant floor at like a really nice restaurant up in Big Sur where we did our honeymoon, and like rolled under, you know, a table with a different couple on their honeymoon or something, like 3 tables over, and I had to like walk over there, tail between my legs. That was embarrassing.
Speaking of embarrassing, Aaron, how long did it take you to get used to infidelity? When did you guys decide to open it up? Was it before? I assume it was before the birth of your daughter.
Yeah.
And she was just like, I'm fine with you doing whatever, Aaron, as long as you keep it at All Things Comedy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just me and Billy.
Okay.
For me, it was after the kids, because that's when she just really has no use for you anymore. So it's a natural time. The last question is from David. He says, my wife and I just saw you in Anthony in Hollywood, Florida. Show was great. And while they waited for the show to start, he noticed the music being played were from artists that you've mentioned during Recommendation Station or in conversations on RJVP or JRVP. And then immediately after you left, the first song played seemed to be a callback to a bit earlier in the show. That's interesting. Does Anthony curate the playlist before and after the show, or am I reading too much into this?
A good question. I don't curate the whole playlist specifically. I mean, the song, I go on stage to Kanye West, Black Skinhead, and I leave the stage to Kanye West, Black Skinhead. But the music before, like while people are loading in, the audience playing music is usually just Run the Jewels radio on Spotify. I don't know. I always just say, when in doubt, just go Run the Jewels and play whatever. And then like I hear, you know, MF Doom and different things kind of sneak in there. But it's usually, if you like a song, if you're at the show and you're like, oh, what's that song? I want to hear it. Just go to Run the Jewels radio on Spotify. It'll come up. But I'm into that.
He said you've read books for inspiration. This is kind of a 2-part question. Has any musical artist, album, or song ever inspired a joke?
No, like an artist has never inspired a specific joke, but I have taken a lot of my stage persona from Jack White. You know, being in the White Stripes, just kind of blasting away up there with just a guitar. Like that minimalist, I can still rock. I definitely took from him. I watched Prince's guitar solo in My Guitar Gently Weeps like a million times, just for like the bravado of it. But it's not like, oh, this made me think of something funny. It's more just like stage presence. I take a lot from musicians.
What about Elvis Costello, when he would just be up there doing like 2 hours and 45 minutes straight without saying a goddamn thing? I remember you thinking that was the coolest.
I thought that was cool, but just blasting through it, you know, just like you're getting all the songs, but I'm going to play them fast, I'm going to play them hard. Yeah, for sure. And like the lyricism of Elvis Costello definitely was inspirational, but a specific joke, no. And that was Email Corner. Shine on. Email your wife.
And that was Email
And now it's time for yet another
Ad copy.
Maybe these were too close together, but you can never be too close to the holidays and unwrapping the first of many presents this season with On the House from DraftKings Casino. With hundreds of games, prizes, and promos, DraftKings Casino has something for everyone on your list. Right now, new players who play $5 can get $100 instantly in casino credits. Who doesn't like that? I mean, you got the classics. You got the slots, you got blackjack, you got roulette, or you can play exclusive games you'll only find at DraftKings Casino to feel the holiday cheer all season long. Anthony, do you have a favorite casino game?
You know, I was in a casino last weekend or 2 weeks ago in Florida. A lot of roulette. Roulette's my thing.
Roulette is a lot of fun. You can play that on the DraftKings Casino app. And again, you download the app, you sign up with the promo code JRVP, you play $5 to get $100 in casino credits, and that's the promo code JRVP. Only at DraftKings Casino. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. 21 plus, physically present in Connecticut, Michigan, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, West Virginia only. Void in Ontario. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. One per opted in new customer. $5 wager required. Max $100 casino credit awarded, which require one times playthrough within 7 days. Terms at casino.draftkings.com/holidays. On the House. Restrictions apply. They say you can't speed it up more than 1.25, Anthony.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't have the technology to do that, so I was just trying to modulate 1.25. I think that was good.
It's amazing.
You know what else is good?
Having one more ad?
One more ad. It's AG1. If you're a long-time listener, you know we've been drinking AG1 for a while. Every once in a while, I get close to running out. Like I only have the travel packs. I'm at that point now, and I want more. And sometimes I just pay for it because I'm so used to it. And we got 2 AG1 drinkers in the house. When we started it, I thought just Emeka will take it. Then I got on it, and it's really helped us. Universal needs like gut optimization, stress management, immune support. Since 2010, AG1 has led the future of foundational nutrition, continuously refining their formula to create a smarter, better way to elevate your baseline health. And so when I start running low, what I do is during the ad, I start talking about how I need more. And then hopefully Rebecca or Amy hears that and they get AG1 to send us more because we go through it fast. So this is that moment. Emeka's going to take it to Japan, but we need to refill the AG1.
I've got so much AG1 at home. It's affecting my life. I'm swimming in it. I've got a whole cabinet full of the bags. I've got too much. But I love it.
Okay, then
every day for years.
Bring me the bag. AG1 is a supplement I trust to provide the support my body needs daily. That's why they've been a partner for so long. Tastes good too. If you want to take ownership of your health, it starts with AG1. Try AG1. You get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3, K2, and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase. I got a whole month's worth of travel packs, but I like the powder. Go to drinkag1.com/JRVP. That's drinkag1.com/JRVP. Check it out. My whole family, my friends, they're all on AG1.
I'll tell you how it affects your life. You know when you watch a football game, a guy scores a touchdown and he points up to heaven and looks up? That's how you can tell who in the NFL drinks AG1 and who doesn't. Because if you drink AG1, you don't have to look up and point up to the sky. Because it's in you.
Ooh.
Do you know what I mean, Aaron?
Oh,
you
yeah.
point like at your stomach.
Barry Sanders, you know how he just flipped the ball to the official?
Ball to the official?
I watched that documentary, Run, Barry, Run. Or,
do you know why he did
whatever
that?
it was
Just
called.
Barry.
Do you know why he did that? Why he handed the ball off like that instead of spiking and doing a big dance?
He drank AG1.
He drank AG1. That's most of the documentary is about that. And that was.
Are we done?
And that was.
We're dead.
Ad copy.
Let's get to headlines fucking right now.
Let's get the headlines. Let's get the headlines.
It's not just called Barry, the Barry Sanders documentary. Aaron, it's not whatever the fuck I called it, which was wrong. It's called Bye Bye Barry. And this is in recommendation station. But if you like a sports doc, it was worth it. It's good.
It was okay. I like my favorite one was the first one. Did you guys see Hi Barry?
I did like the other one that was just Barry, which was an exclamation point at the end. That was good.
Sup, B? that was good.
Just the footage was great.
You know what was terrible was Good Morning Barry. Like we don't need this.
Yeah. It was like, fuck you, Barry, from that angry fan. Just was like, why did you quit so early? I didn't like that either.
Packers fan.
It should go without saying that Taco Bell Christmas parties, the best Christmas parties. So I think the former San Pedro, that's in Los Angeles, Taco Bell employee who is suing the company for a Christmas party last year that had blacked out windows, open sex, and vomit in her guacamole bowl is totally not cool and is not invited to my Christmas party this year.
Whoever is suing Taco Bell should be in jail. If you work at Taco Bell, okay, then you deserve the best Christmas party ever. I can't believe Taco Bell even has a Christmas party.
Yeah.
I assume this is another company having their Christmas party at a Taco Bell. No. You have the best boss in Taco Bell history who is throwing your party at all, much less blacking out the windows. If you go to a Taco Bell Christmas party and the windows are blacked out, hold on for the ride of your life.
I believe he also covered the cameras.
Yeah. Yes.
You should, whatever you're suing for, you should take that money and give it to your boss. He is the best. Why do you have a guacamole bowl at a Taco Bell Christmas party? If there's anything people do not want at a Taco Bell Christmas party, it's windows you can see through and guacamole.
Yeah.
No one is saying, hey, someone go back in the kitchen and get us some of the food we make all the time. Some of the stuff we've been making all year long.
I think she brought her own guacamole, which is another thing you don't want at the Taco Bell Christmas party. More guacamole. They're fucking knee deep in guacamole.
Yeah.
We don't need it.
How do you know they puked? Maybe it's just guacamole.
Right. You know what you do want at a Taco Bell Christmas party? Seeing your boss just banging his wife.
Seeing people having sex at your Christmas party is a good thing. It's good. I don't understand what the complaint is. Throwing up in a guacamole bowl at a Christmas party is good by any metric.
She says it was a pretty wild party. Around midnight, she stepped outside for a short time. She walked back into the restaurant. She saw her coworker having sex with his wife in front of everyone while the coworker's wife was at the same time having sex. So she was having sex with the coworker. At that same time, the wife is making out with her female manager. It was the manager. You keep saying he, but actually it's a woman. She's the best manager of all time. She's the best boss. The coworker's wife was having sex with the guy and making out with the manager and another female coworker at the same time. I don't even know how that's possible. That's too many people. Maybe they're taking turns, but it's all happening.
Listen, this is the best thing that Taco Bell's ever done since they combined bean and cheese for the first time. Ever since they figured out that you could just take 5 ingredients and have a whole goddamn menu. This is the best thing they've ever done. Why you would complain? I could see suing this year because this year's party wasn't as good. Because you got rid of the manager who made the cool party. If you go to a party with blacked out windows, everyone's getting fucked up. You're going to get to have sex with someone's wife at that party.
I actually I have some audio from that party.
Classic. I like the idea of Aaron sitting with his finger on that button, waiting on podcast to use it.
That was great.
Forever.
That was
Yeah, throw this lawsuit out, and I would work at that Taco Bell. I would work at it.
Yeah.
How many hours I got to put in to get the
San
Christmas
Pedro.
party?
It's not far away. I'm not sure how far that is, but I think it's in L.A.
A little.
You should be
before Long Beach.
grateful you
Let's
got
go.
anything.
Yeah.
That sounds like a great party.
So she saw this. She went outside. She saw the coworker having sex with his wife while also making out with the manager and another coworker at the same time. She left again. Was just like, she was very upset about it, and then realized her guacamole bowl was inside. You got to get the guacamole bowl. So she went back in and found out that her manager and the other coworker involved in the sex were vomiting. And one was into the guacamole bowl.
If you've got multiple people puking into your guacamole bowl, that's a compliment to your guacamole bowl. It must, to be able to handle the splash, it must be huge. You shouldn't, if it's too nice to get puked in, it's too nice to bring to a Taco Bell Christmas party. And why are you bringing guacamole to a Taco Bell Christmas party? I'm on team manager. I'm on team Taco Bell. I'm very, very anti lawsuit.
Liv Moss.
Roll it.
Good one. And now it's time for... I'm kidding.
A Florida man was arrested after allegedly defecating on a dead possum in the middle of rush hour traffic, according to police.
Now, what's the problem here? Is it rush hour?
I think
Is it dead possum?
No,
Is it pooping?
I think it's the pooping because that's exposing yourself. Yeah, the pants are all the way down. I guess you could have possibly pooped while covering up your privates and whatnot, but he wasn't. He was in the middle of an intersection, Belcher Road and Willow Tree Trail, on the way
Shout
back
out.
in Clearwater.
Shout out to Belch.
Pulls the pants down and is just pooping on that possum.
He's on a crosswalk.
Yeah, like in the media.
Okay. So he was just walking, saw the possum and thought, I got to do something.
Right.
I'm going to try to bring it back to life through a poop transplant. If you remember last week's episode, it's a good callback. And then it didn't work. And so he's being punished for caring too much.
Yeah.
In a way.
He's an animal lover. Whenever I see a dead possum on the street, I just think like, well, maybe a poop would help.
I try to empathize. You know what I mean? What if he's a kid, his mom's driving him to school, possum runs out in the road, she swerves, flies off the road, dies, he's hanging upside down looking at his mom's body for days before he's found. Then makes sense.
Yeah.
Years later, you're walking across, you see a dead possum. Like, if it was a live possum, would it be better in the eyes of the law? Probably. That's why they say justice is blind. Like a possum in the day. Their eyes are for dark.
Yeah, the man who was arrested did say that all the witnesses didn't see straight, that they were wrong. He denied the accusations, but the police had multiple people saying that he was pooping on this possum.
How many people does it take before you definitely believe the people? Like if I walked in here and I was like, "Hey, I saw Aaron taking a shit on a dead possum outside," do you believe me? Or are you like, "I bet you're making that up"?
Well, no, yeah, I believe you because it's Aaron.
Okay, Aaron, I walk in here and say, "I just saw Greg taking a shit on a dead possum outside." Do you believe me?
I feel like I need some corroboration.
Okay,
Yeah.
and so how many corroborators do you need? One.
One more.
Okay.
Yeah.
Second source. You always double source.
What if I show you? What if I show you a video of him shitting on the dead possum?
Well, of course, that's a corroborator.
That's a corroborate. Okay,
Yeah.
I remember
Those
that.
two.
You wouldn't worry about AI or CGI.
It's a problem.
No, they haven't gotten that.
It's becoming
that
a
far
problem.
yet.
That's what worries me about AI is that one day I'll take a shit on a possum and someone will have it on film and then they'll just erase me. They'll make it someone else.
They make a hologram of it.
Mm-hmm.
We get a semi-regular update from the wilds of TikTok, just like a story of someone talking on TikTok. And we have double checked this, double sourced it. It's about an Idaho mom of two twins, young twins, who was shocked to find out recently that her husband cheated on her, wait for it, with her mom.
I don't have a problem with this. You're Idaho, I'm guessing Mormon. twins, that's a Mormon
Why
thing
is
to do.
Idaho Mormon?
Idaho's Mormon. Aaron, look it up.
There's a lot.
Yeah, there's
Okay.
a lot. But I think more than anywhere else, maybe even more than Utah. It's something crazy. Idaho is lots of Mormon. Shout out to Ryan Hamilton. He's from there, and he's Mormon. You can look that up too, Aaron, while you're doing the other one.
Sure.
Have we found something?
Yeah.
Here. If you're going to cheat on your wife,
Yeah.
and if you're Mormon, they're allowed to do that. That's part of the thing. If you keep it in the family, isn't that better than just some random slag? Aaron,
Slag.
Aaron, how would your wife feel if she found out you cheated on her?
She would not be thrilled.
With a random slag?
Certainly.
What about a specific slag? Her mom. Is she madder or less mad or the same mad?
I think, truthfully, she'd be very confused because her mother has passed.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Would she be confused? I feel like she would know how she felt. She'd be more upset.
Yeah, she'd be confused.
I mean, we'd all be confused.
I found some updates on the Mormon population of Idaho. I just took Aaron's job right from out under them. There's an amazing site with graphs and percentages, and
They have graphs? Aaron, throw them up on the screen.
Utah dominates, obviously. Idaho, number 3 in terms of Mormon population states, but crushing it percentage-wise compared to California. California's still 2. Just because California is big, 700,000. There's almost 500,000 in Idaho. And yeah, second to Utah. I didn't know that.
For anyone out there who says that our podcast has fallen off, the 226th episode, the magic still isn't there, rewind 30 seconds and then suck my fucking dick. Because JRVP gets it done. I hope we're only halfway done with the podcasting. And that we end up doing 500 of these things, and that the next 250 fucking suck.
I disagree with your take about the mom. It doesn't seem, I don't know if they're Mormon or not, but she did not take this well, the daughter. She said she didn't want to believe, there were all these signs, we can go through them, they're almost funny, but she didn't want to believe the 2 people she trusted most in the whole world could betray her like that. She immediately divorced him. The husband immediately moved in with the mom. I mean, this is a double cross. It's a double cross because they're both double crossing. It's a double cross animal style. It's all happening.
I think if I was going to cheat on Liz, and I could cheat on her with anyone, I'm going mom. I'm going her mom. She was almost 80. But I'm going there because it's kind of a compliment to Liz.
Sure.
When Liz finds out, it's like, oh, not only do you still find me attractive, but you can't wait until I age. You need to get that now. And I bet they smell similar.
Right. Because the problem, and there wouldn't be a problem, it'll be beautiful, beautiful love making, when you're older. But the problem is you'll both be old then. So you won't have the experience of what it's like to make love to old Liz now. But you can do that if it's her mom.
Listen, this is what we refer to in the business as having your cake and eating it too. Yes, you get to be married to someone, but you also get to sleep with a much, much older version of them that gave birth to them. That is having your cake and eating it too.
Does Liz still listen to the Jeselnik Rosenthal Vanity Project?
JRVP.
Junior Vice President.
Not for quite some time, but if she knew that I was talking about sleeping with her mom, she would absolutely listen to this section of it. She would absolutely listen to this part. And she would understand. She would agree with me. I think if you're going to cheat on your wife or your girlfriend, I think the worst thing you can do is cheat on them with their best friend. That's the worst thing. Mm-hmm. Then total stranger.
Yeah.
Then sibling. Mm-hmm. Then mom. Mm-hmm. Then dad.
Dad's the tops.
Dad's the tops. You can't even complain about that. That is, in a way, like a marriage proposal. Getting caught with the dad.
She said, I guess it'd been happening for a while, but she went through with her posts how she first started noticing her husband and mom started greeting each other differently. That the mom would wrap the hands around her husband's neck, and he would swing her around in a circle. He also started giving my mom foot rubs in front of me, and then this does feel like a giveaway, but even at this point she didn't know. On Valentine's Day, he brought flowers for her and her mom.
Okay, that's not a sign. No, you giving someone's mom flowers on Valentine's Day is a nice thing to do as a husband or boyfriend.
Wait. Okay, here's a bigger red flag. Unless you want to go on.
Go ahead.
The biggest red flag on multiple occasions with people saying there, my mother and her ex-husband would say, you know, if Catherine and her dad were ever to tragically pass away at the same time, we would totally end up together. They would just like say that.
That's a red flag.
That's a red flag.
That's a total red flag. I think that the woman telling this story, the wife, must suck so hard. Her husband and her mom hate her. That's the only reason you get together, and for a prolonged affair. A one-night thing, maybe something happens, whatever. A prolonged affair, foot rubs in front of you, they hate you, and they wish you were dead, and they would kill you if they thought that was punishment enough. But instead, they're choosing to have sex until you find out. And now you're doing TikToks about it. You suck.
I don't know. Yeah. I mean, multiple things can be true. They might suck and she might suck.
You would not do this to someone no matter how attracted you were unless you hated them and wanted them to feel the pain of finding out their husband cheated on them with their mom.
So, yeah, she finally found out because he was a DoorDash guy, and she like called him why he come home, and she was on the phone and she could hear someone else in the car with him, and she had a feeling it was her mom. And then her sister said, oh yeah, your husband picked up mom earlier in the day, and she was just like going around DoorDashing. So you never know what might be happening in that DoorDash car when they drop off your bacon and eggs.
I'd have a question. I'd be like, hey, are you guys, Liz, are you and my dad having an affair, or are you guys just DoorDashing? Because if you're just driving around DoorDashing, I get it.
Oh, that's sad. I mean, she had like baby twins, but immediate divorce and 100% custody of the children, and the husband immediately moved in with the mom, and then months later got sick of the mom too and just always fled.
I want to hear about these twins, because when the twins get older, you know how like people whose parents got divorced, the son's always kind of a little fucked up, doesn't respect women. You know what I mean? Like, Aaron, how old were you when your parents got divorced?
They never did.
Okay. They're always like, they're going to end up being cheaters too, because they looked up at their father. Their father was imperfect. They're going to be imperfect too. These kids, these twins, are going to be super fucked up. Everyone they ever date, they're going to cheat on them with their own mother.
Our last headline is about a thrift store.
Yeah, we didn't get the last headline song.
It's fine.
Is it fine? Or is it Aaron's fault?
I mean, do we need the song every time? We can mix it up.
Sing it for me, Aaron.
Last headline.
Thank you.
That was pretty good.
I said sing. Aaron, I said sing it from yourself. Don't play the song.
I did.
Okay.
A thrift store benefiting a children's charity in the United Kingdom has begged their customers to stop donating sex toys. Barnados. They were forced to issue a public appeal. Just stop doing it. They've just been getting an avalanche of adult items, and the store has underage volunteers that work there, volunteering, and they're sorting through the donation pile, and they're getting old dildos and whatnot.
You got to get volunteers who are older. That'll stop the temptation. If I see a 13-year-old sorting through Goodwill stuff, I know what to do. All right? I'm coming in hot. I'm coming in fast. I'm coming with a lot of used toys. And then I sit back and I watch them try to figure out what they are. Okay? Imagine a dildo that looks like a Chinese throwing star that has so many attachments. It's going to take you a while to figure out what that is to a 13-year-old mind sorting through T-shirts in a bin. I want to do that. You get older volunteers, it's okay. Then the thirst goes away. I don't understand why they're making this public. If you're getting donations, you get some sex toys. Okay, you toss them, you throw them away. You know what they are. Okay, I don't have to unwrap this, so now I'm just throwing it away. Anything that might be a sex toy, you toss. It's going to be part of your day. Once you say stop selling us sex toys, people are going out and buying sex toys in order to donate them to you.
It's the number one way to get people to donate sex toys is to post on social media. Stop giving us sex toys.
I'll tell you what. I hear this plea to stop doing it. I tell you all I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about going to the sex store. I'm thinking about buying the dildo. I'm getting some scissors from someone. I'm going to cut the package open. I'm taking that dildo out. I'm putting it right up my ass without any kind of like lubrication whatsoever. I'm going just right in there. And I'm gonna leave it in there as I walk over to Goodwill. And then I'm going to take it out and put it right into the bin. That's what I'm doing. That's what you have to do when you hear someone say, please stop sending us sex toys. Am I wrong? Aaron?
I mean...
Would you not do the exact same thing I just described?
100%.
Right. Plus, it's very selfish, I think, of the store to ask the customers to stop doing it for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's the best place to get sex toys. Is Goodwill, Salvation Army. In the UK, I guess it's Barnado's. You know, that's where I love to get them. You just know they're ripe. They're great. Number two, I have kids that are, they're going to get to the age where you think about, okay, how am I going to have these conversations with my kids about how they're growing up? And my plan was just have them go sort at Salvation Army.
Go to Salvation Army.
Yeah, just be the sorter at Goodwill at Salvation Army. That's how you learn.
Now, once your kids are volunteering at Salvation Army, do you then go and donate your own sex toys and then watch them sort them?
Sure. I mean, it's kind of like a Secret Santa thing. You don't want you don't want them to see you dropping them off or whatever. Hopefully, they're not sorting through it and they're like, that looks familiar. But yeah, you put them there. To make sure that they get it.
It's like when your kids do their first lemonade stand. You stop by, you're like, oh, I'm thirsty. How much is this? Oh, $1? Ah, here's $5. That's what you do only with used sex toys. You shouldn't have said anything. You should have kept it to yourself and thrown them away. And now you're a sex toy store. You're a used sex toy store. That's what you do now. And now it's time for Recommendation Station, Greg.
Okay, I've got a recommendation of a graphic novel. It's called Allison. It's by Lizzie Stewart. A very affecting book. I read it in like one sitting. It's probably 140 pages. Beautiful pictures. It's about an artist in London and this relationship she has with this older artist who sort of mentors her, and she's married, steals her basically away from her husband, and just thinking about that. And then as she goes through her art career and everything, it's very good, and just like about how you change from being a young person, a young artist to someone that's more established. It's called Allison by Lizzie Stewart, and it's very emotional. And it also gets me to recommend, this is a 2-part recommendation, the podcast where I got it from, which I've recommended before on this show. It's called Literary Friction, and I'm recommending it because they're ending their run. They've been doing it for 10 years. It's hosted by Carrie Plitt and Octavia Bright. A lot of people ask me, where do you get your books? Where do you think of where to get books from? And a lot of them over the years were from Literary Friction, which I think is the best literary podcast I've ever listened to, at least. And the good thing is they're timeless, because it doesn't really matter when they posted them all. So there's 10 years worth of podcasts there, and I really loved what they did. So congrats to them on wrapping it up over at Literary Friction.
My recommendation is a book. Dina Hashem's boyfriend was telling me about this book, and I was like, oh, that sounds great. And being in New York for 10 days, I was like, oh, it made me want to read it. Lou Reed, The King of New York. Everyone knows about the Velvet Underground. Everyone knows about Lou Reed, who passed away a few years ago. A great musician, and truly the king of New York. People worshipped him. Your favorite artist, he was their favorite artist. And I didn't know that much about him, didn't know much about the Velvet Underground, but loved the book. He's such a fascinating person, lived a fascinating life, and it was incredible. Again, that's Lou Reed, The King of New York. I think it's very, very new, by Will Hermes or Hermes. I don't know. Liz is always correcting me when I say Hermes, so I don't know. Hermes. Anyway, Lou Reed, King of New York. It's a cool book too. If you like hardcovers, get it. It's got a cool cover to it. That's great. Aaron, anything you want to recommend?
Sure. I've got by the artist or the author that did the Last Action Heroes book, Nick DeSemlin. He did a book previously called Wild and Crazy Guys about the guys from SNL in the late 70s and 80s. Your Martin Short, not Martin Short, but like Chevy Chase, Bill Murray. The book literally opens on a scene where right before the cold open on SNL, Bill Murray punches Chevy Chase in the face. I mean, what more do you need? And it's written in that fun style of back and forth between characters and chapters devoted to certain people. And
that's cool. Yeah. I'm surprised I haven't heard of that because I did read the Last Action Hero book and loved it. So I will Wild and Crazy Guys. I'm sure I've heard of it. I'm surprised I have not read that yet. Or maybe I have and just forgot. Yeah. That's possible. I've forgotten more books, Aaron, than you've ever fucking seen.
Yeah.
I forget everything. I've memory like a goldfish.
All right, Anthony. All right,
Walker.
Let's land this plane.
Get us out of here. And that was Recommendation Station. Walker, get us out.
Whoa, Nelly Furtado, that's a spicy meatball.